Hello and welcome to Rockbridge Wrap-Up. I'm Alex Maragos. Last week I talked to VMI head football coach Sparky Woods and the Keydets starting quarterback Eric Cordenbrock. Today I'm happy to be joined by Washington and Lee head football coach Scott Abel, and in just a few minutes, the Generals' preseason first-team All-American safety, Jake Pelton. Coach, thanks for taking the time to be with me today.
Thanks for having me, Alex.
So talk a little bit about the transition from being the offensive coordinator to becoming the head coach after Frank Mariello retired.
Well, you know, for all coaches, whenever you move jobs, whether it's in-house or to a new school, there's always a transition period. For me this time, I would say it's as easy as any transition I've been a part of. You know, Coach Mariello had given me some leadership leeway, as offense coordinator, assistant head coach, which certainly made the transition easier. And, the guys all bought in from day one. And, I can't say enough about the players and staff and how easy they've made the transition for me.
Talk a little bit about some of the challenges that have been set forth by replacing the winningest coach in school history.
Well, I think the first thing is you never try to be somebody else. So it's important that I stay consistent in who I am as a coach, and that stay focused on what I know and what I believe will make us successful here, and certainly learn from what my experience with Coach Mariello and even the past coaching experience I've had to help build a program here.
Now there are a few new faces on the field this year, starting with Nick Lombardo taking over under center for Charlie Westfall. Evaluate a little bit how he's done so far this season.
Well, I think Nick's certainly off to a solid start. It's always uncomfortable when you have to replace a young man who's leaving the program with a lot of records, and that's what Charlie was. But Nick's done a really good job. He's probably been held back a little bit by me. We've been somewhat conservative in our play calling early on the first 4 games, but he's certainly done everything we've asked him to do. He's put the offense in position to score points, and that's what we expect out of our quarterbacks. We expect them to be great point guards for us.
Now, W&L's offense over the last several years has been among the best in all Division III. So what's it like now as the head coach to have to take formal responsibility for the defense as well that can be viewed as the team's weakness?
Well, it's a good question. I mean, but from day one, our focus has been on what do we need to do defensively to improve. And, the first thing was trying to put a staff together that we knew would help build what we believed to be successful. And Coach O'Brien, his guys have done a fantastic job. And then it's just really focused on getting the right kids in the right spots to carry out the game plans that we're going to set forth. And I think each and every week our defense has gotten better. And, they've played really good football for most of the year. And, last week, we gave up 21 points. But if you really look at the stats, 33 quarters we didn't give up any points, and we held Guilford to right at 100 yards of total offense. That's a great defensive effort. So our guys continue to get better. They continue to work hard at the little things that we preach every day: tackle better, put pressure on the quarterback. So I'm excited in the direction we're moving there.
Now, the most effective part of your offense is undoubtedly the running game. What's it like to have runners like Brett Murray and Luke Heinsohn in the backfield?
It's comforting. How about that? It's as a head coach and offense coordinator, it's you have a sense of calmness when you have those kind of athletes, those kind of running backs in the system that we have. And I can't say enough about both of them. They do a fantastic job. And I think the unique part is they're unselfish. I think you put either one of them on any other team where they're the featured back, they're not just breaking records or crushing records. But a lot of it goes into it. It takes 11 guys out there at the same time working together. So offensively up front, we think we're probably as good as we've ever been. Our offensive line is doing fantastic things up front, and Nick has to make the right decisions with the football, and our receivers have to block well out wide. And when they get the opportunity to make a big play in our passing game, when they can make those plays, it just helps us open up those holes even bigger. So it's certainly a team effort, but it's a comfort to have both those kids back in their senior year.
Now, both the offense and the defense looked really good against number 23 center. Talk about how big of a win that was for your team.
Well, it's that boost of adrenaline that every coach is looking for in every season. As you prepare for each season, you kind of look down the road or at some games that can give your team that boost to propel you to that next step, next phase, and that's what center was for us. Coming in, we were, 1-1. Had lost a tough game, had won a good game at Swanee, and we were still looking for that kind of key win for this season to really let us know what direction we're moving in. And center was that game for us, and the passion we played with defensively was really unmatched by any defense that we've had around here in a while. And offensively, our guys just got after them. And that's a great thing for our team. And I think that's the momentum that we're going to carry with us into ODAC.
Now, last year on the road, the team squeaked out a win against Emory and Henry. What's the key to beating the Wasps at home this season?
Well, I think there's two big keys. I think we have to contain their passing game. They're going to throw for some yards. On the average, they throw the ball 48, 49 times a game. And the Bogan kid's averaging over 300 yards passing. So we have to contain that. He's going to complete some passes. We need to tackle well in open space so that we limit their yards after catch. And offensively, we need to get our option game going. And we need to finish drives. Last year we had opportunities to put more points on the board, and we sputtered the closer we got to the goal line, and we can't let that happen this year.
Now, I know as a coach you like to take it one game at a time, but the season-ending loss to Hammond City last year, it's got to be disappointing for the whole team, I know. Do you have that game circled on your calendar this year?
Well, there's always rivalries that you look forward to, okay? And I'd be lying to sit here and say that I didn't look forward to the Sydney game every year. But I think it's probably a good thing for us this year with the ODAC. I think it's very balanced. I think there's 4 or 5 teams that really, when the dust settles, any 4 or 5 of us could win the conference. So that means we've got to be focused each and every week. And that's probably the thing I'm proudest of last week. We're heading down to Guilford with a team that has struggled recently, and I thought we played our best all-around game on the road. And that's a great feeling to know that our team could focus, knowing that we had some big games coming up back here at home.
Now, 2 weeks ago, your son Porter was handed the first loss of his senior season at Rockbridge County, and when the Wildcats took on Amherst County. What was it like to be there watching your son take his first loss against the team that you used to coach?
It was a different feeling for our whole family. It was great to be back there. We all have great memories there. Amherst was just an awesome place for our family for years, and we were all excited, but very disappointed. We're parents at that point, and we were 100% rooting for the Wildcats and really hoping they'd put it on Amherst, to be honest. But the ball didn't bounce our way that night, and I'm sure the Wildcats are looking forward to getting back on the field this week against Stanton River.
Coach, thanks for the time, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, Alex.
Over the last few years, the Generals have won so many of their games thanks to their record-setting offense. But all along, they've had some terrific talent on the defensive side of the ball. We're happy to have one of those players on the Rockbridge Wrap-Up today. He's a 2-time first-team All-ODAC and first-team All-State selection, in addition to being recognized as a preseason All-American this year. Jake, thanks for stopping by the program.
Thanks for having me, Alex.
So what are some of the differences you've noticed so far this year with Coach Abel taking over the program?
I think it's been a very smooth transition. I think the biggest thing is the fact that being a young coach, he understands what we need, and we really respect him as far as putting the right players on the field at the right time. So I think as players, we know all we have to do and all we have to focus on is working hard and understanding the game plan, and that the coaching staff and Coach Abel and all the other coaches will put us in the right positions to make plays.
Now, you lost some key contributors on the offensive side of the ball this year, but you have lost a few on defense as well. Talk about what it's been like to be on the field and see your teammates step up into a starting role.
Oh, it's been great. I think we knew that losing players like Rob Look and John Cavanaugh and also Mike Hartford, that was going to be a big loss, but I also realized that kids in my class and also kids below me would step right in. So players like Peter Partee, Sam Zimmer, and obviously Jesse Jenkins and Doug Frazier at the middle linebacker position. We knew that despite losing those players last year, that we could fill those voids pretty quickly.
Now, the team started with a loss at Franklin and Marshall to begin the season. What did that loss teach you about your team?
Yeah, it was a tough loss to take. I mean, it was a battle throughout, and they just ended up getting that last score. But I think we really did learn a lot from that loss. I think we realized that, we're not invincible. As much as we have that mentality on the field, that teams are going to come with their best when they play us. Especially over the past few years, we've proven that teams are going to have to do that. So I think it showed that we're going to have to come with our best at the same time. We can't expect to win. We have to go out and earn it.
Now, W&L's reputation over the last few years is they're going to put a ton of points up on the board, but the defense also may give up a few. What is your squad on that side of the ball doing this year to kind of defeat that reputation and stone the opposing offense?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, bend don't break is our philosophy. So, if we give up a big play, we just line up and play the next play, and just keep coming at the offense and don't get down, don't start hanging our heads. So I think the biggest thing is keeping that mentality and knowing that just keeping them out of the end zone, and if they get a field goal, fine. But the game is played for 4 quarters, and one play isn't going to beat you. So it's really, if you let that mindset snowball, if you let that you hang your head a little bit, and all of a sudden everyone's down, that's what's going to lose you games, and that's what's going to give up a lot of points. So that's the biggest thing, is just staying strong mentally.
Now, one game where the defense played particularly well was against number 23 center. Talk about what it was like for you and your teammates to beat a ranked opponent so early in the season.
Yeah, it was great, Alex. I think that night just kind of culminated in everything Coach Abel talked about. We got a night game at home, which we haven't had in a while, and having the ranked opponent come. And after the loss we took from center last year at their place, we knew that this was a big opportunity for us. And so it was just big for us on all aspects of the football, offensively and defensively. And I think that really kind of especially going into the bye week the next week, I think, and going into ODAC play, I think that really catapulted us into the position we want to be in going into ODAC play.
Now, after beating Guilford last week on the road, you guys are riding a 4-game winning streak now. What's that like to have that momentum going into conference play?
It feels great. I think, like I said, it feels like all the pieces are kind of falling into place, and practices are very good tempo at practice. Everyone's on the same page, and I think all the coaches are really putting together a great game plan. You can't give them enough credit for it. And so I think we're really hitting our stride, and I think we have two home games coming up, which will be big, because I feel like we've been on the road a lot. But yeah, we're really excited to make a run at the ODAC championship.
Yeah, and aside from the loss to start the year, you guys have played very, very well. I was just going to ask, what are your expectations for this year, and how good do you reasonably think that you can be? Yeah,
I think Coach Abel has preached from the beginning that we want to get another ring and play on Thanksgiving. So that doesn't mean just to be satisfied with winning the ODAC championship, but also making a run in the playoffs. I think that's a very reasonable goal, and over my years here, I think we've made that turnaround. I think in the past people were content with a 500 team, and I think that's not the case anymore. I think we're looking far off in the future, and I think we're ready to be playing on Thanksgiving is what we're shooting for.
Now, last year you guys lost to end your season against Hampton and Cindy. They haven't gotten any worse. What makes the team confident that you're going to be able to win the rematch this year?
Right, I think that matchup's been some of the greatest games I've played in, and it's gone. I think it's gone the home team way every time. So having it at home obviously is going to be an advantage. Having it in front of the home crowd, but yeah, it's going to be a challenge. I think they have a transfer quarterback, and they like to throw the ball. So as a defensive back, I know we're going to be tested. But not looking ahead, I think this game coming up, Emory and Henry is also going to test us, because I think a lot of the ODAC teams like to throw the rock. So we're definitely going to get tested, but I think we're up for the challenge.
Now, you've been a standout in your last 3 years on the Generals football team. This year you lead the team in tackles and interceptions. What motivates you? What gets you up in the morning and ready to go play for the Generals?
I don't know, throwing that trident on, I think, and just the guys that surround me, I think, get all the credit. I think those guys really motivate me, because I always want to, if I can, make them better, and I feel like they make me better. So I think the 11 guys, at least on the defensive side of the ball, we all kind of motivate each other. And I think, especially being at safety, being in the back, and like way in the back, I don't know, being able to see the whole field. I think something about that, kind of that vantage point, makes me just feel like I want to make the play like every time, if that makes sense. And so, I love what I do, and but it's definitely a testament to the guys I play with. I think they really help me out a lot.
Jake, thanks for the time. Good luck this weekend against Emory and Henry.
Thanks for having me, Alex.
Thanks once again to Coach Scott Abel and Jake Pelton for joining us on Rockbridge Wrap-Up. Next week, we'll get you caught up on the RCHS Wildcats football team. For all of us at Rockbridge Wrap-Up, I'm Alex Maragos. Thanks for watching.